Good morning. I don't know if you guys have seen this literature they got on your tables. I hope Homeland Security doesn't see this stuff. A revolution in the making. My. It's been a long time since it was all right to talk about hope. And some of you have been waiting and working for a long time for it to be all right again, for us to talk about the kind of changes that we want to see in our communities. Some of you have been waiting and working for a long time through a very difficult period in this country, keeping alive that candle of hope. It's been a long time coming, as the song says. But change is not just going to come, it is here. And I want to talk with you about the incredible possibility that Neighborhood House represents as possibly the crown jewel, this building, in this convergence that's beginning to happen, as people take bolder stands for the people and bolder stands for the planet. This idea of a physical space that meets the highest standards of ecological responsibility, but also the highest standards of social responsibility. And for that to be an actual physical place, no longer just rhetoric, no longer just hype, no longer just a good idea, but a physical example of what's possible. 40 years ago, in 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. He was killed 40 years ago in Memphis, Tennessee. He was taking a stand on behalf of garbage workers, sanitation workers, the lowest people on the rung in the African American community, the lowest community on the rung. He was there, a world-class leader standing with the least of these. And he was fighting for justice and opportunity. He was only 39 years old. I'm 39 years old. He never saw his 40th birthday, and he was shot down. Dr. King had a vision, he had a dream. It wasn't just the endless soundbite loop that we hear. It was a deep dream for transformation to include everybody. And Dr. King wanted equal protection for the least of these and equal opportunity. That was the vision 40 years ago. 40 years later, Neighborhood House is standing for that dream, updated, the 2.0 version, for lack of a better term. In the new century, we have some new challenges. In the new century, we have some new things we need protection from. And we have some new things we need opportunity to get. And I want to talk to you about that. But first, I want you guys to know, I was introduced as an environmentalist, which was neat. It's shocking to me when that happens, you know, because I didn't know I was an environmentalist until the newspapers told me that I was an environmentalist. And then people, I've never met an African American environmental leader before. I said, I haven't either, you know, where is he, you know? And what happened to me was I wasn't trying to be an environmentalist. In fact, I wasn't even trying to be an activist. I had spent many years, like many of you, working with kids in trouble, trying to get our young people out of jail and into jobs. And the reality is I wound up going to a lot of funerals. I spent a lot of time in courtrooms with bad outcomes. I spent a lot of time standing outside of prisons in the rain with mothers and grandmothers who were standing outside because they wanted not to touch their child, but to touch the glass. See, with a child on the other side. And sometimes we would get there to the prison, and they would have moved the child 2 weeks ago and not even told the parents. You see. So I was trying to help kids who had been thrown away. And I burned out. I got tired. And I had to get some help or some healing. It was too much. And so I discovered and I found out about this place called Marin County. Now, has anybody here ever been to Marin County? Okay. All right. For those of you who've never been and haven't heard of it, coming from Oakland, the first thing that strikes you about Marin County when you get there is that everybody in Marin County is happy, okay? They are happy in Marin County. They have these things called spirituality retreats out there. And now I'm from Oakland. I can't tell anybody in the neighborhood I'm going to a spirituality retreat. It's not going to work. I have to say, look, I'm going to the Raiders game. I'll see you in 3 days, right? And then, so I started going to these retreats. And, and people are very happy. They come to you, hi, how are you? Good to see you. I'm like, hey, back up off me. Just walk up on me like this. Kind of traumatized, man, back up. And what is that rolled up tubular weapon you're carrying? This is my yoga mat, dude. I'm no weapon. I'm just saying it was a culture shock. It was hard to, and they eat this magical ambrosial food called tofu. And it makes them happy and fit. And they drive these cars, and the cars don't have any pollution out of them at all. You could just right on the tailpipe, man, and nothing. Called hybrids. And they have solar panels on their roofs, and I said, what is this? This is right over the horizon from Oakland. You feel me? This is just over the bridge. Just over the bridge. This new green economy with new products and new services and new technologies. And then when I would leave the retreat, I would come back to Oakland. And we have cancer clusters and the port polluting everybody, kids with asthma, no jobs. And I said, is this eco-apartheid? Is this what we're creating? Are we going to have a future where there's ecological haves and ecological have-nots?